What's a horrifying, creepy experience you have lived through? Serious. Story 1. So, one night I woke up to get some water. It was around 1 a.m. As I go to the kitchen, I hear like 10 neighborhood dogs barking. I stood there for like 5 minutes and they don't stop barking. I am creeped out and too scared to look out the window. I finally gather up all the courage left in me and look out the kitchen window to see a hooded figure trying to break in through the backyard gate, which was locked. I literally wanted to scream, but I called 911 while I was hiding in my bedroom looking through my bedroom window. By the time the cops came, he had broken my back door. Turns out he was a robber and thought nobody was in the house because he had been watching my house for like 5 days and I never left the house or opened the windows. He had already committed 2 crimes and the police had been looking for him for like 2 weeks. Story 2. I was playing the game Fear in my room at night with the lights out when I turn around and see what looks like the girl from the game standing there watching me play. It turned out to be someone visiting my roommates who for some reason let themselves into my room and watched me play for who knows how long before I noticed. Story 3. We had a guy who was picking up women in the college town area I lived in and killing them and dumping them down this road I would bike down to get my ex-BF's parents' house I'd visit occasionally. I was walking around college town in broad daylight and this guy in a beige-looking car pulled over and asked me if I wanted a ride. I kept walking and I turned down my street to walk back to my house and he pulled in and tried to cut me off with his car. Immediately, he hops out and tries to grab me and I started to run. It just so happened someone a little further down that street had gotten pulled over and I started to scream for the police. He gets in his car and peels off. They caught the guy killing women sometime later. It was that very same douchebag. I almost lost my shit when I saw it on TV. Story 4. Pet and house sitting. 2 dogs, 2 cats. These friends of mine lived in the middle of nowhere. It is nighttime and literally all of them look at the corner and look like they are tracking something that is moving. They all get super aggressive, hissing and rage barking. They all stopped at around the same time. I wanted to get in my car and go home. Not okay. Story 5. Working retail at night is scary. I used to work at a store that sold alcohol in a big city. I have a lot of stories from working there and I had lots of creepy encounters, but I remember one encounter with a guy that had some sort of really bad intentions with me. He walked in the store and immediately you could tell he was drunk and angry and everybody noticed. He starts talking to me and his vibe is so dark that the other customers all abandon their purchases and leave and my elderly coworker goes to the back of the store because she's scared. So I'm just left with this guy. He tells me he just got in a fight with his girlfriend and that she dumped him. That's when I noticed he's got blood all over him and defensive scratches. I'm like 99% sure he just beat the shit out of his girlfriend and he's still mad. He starts asking me personal questions like how old I am and stuff, and he does this weird sort of evil laugh to my responses and then says I remind him of his girlfriend. I try to keep him talking, but I can tell he's going to attack me, and I'm trapped behind the counter and the wall, and he's blocking the exit. I have my finger on the panic button. Then, all of a sudden, a big group of people walk in. He looks at them, then at me. He grabs a bottle off the shelf and leaves without paying. Story 6. Waking up to a strange man standing over me watching me sleep. I froze and stayed still till he left. I thought it was sleep paralysis until I found a box cutter he left on my kitchen table. Turned out to be a maintenance man for my apartment who got fired. Story 7. I was about 14 and my parents had gone out to dinner with some adult friends. I happily stayed home on my own. I'm watching TV with the cats and I hear a noise from the garage, which shares a wall with our living room. Both cats stand up and start staring at the wall, peering with all their might and not moving a muscle. I hear it again. Then, a bunch more noises, clanks and clangs. There is definitely something in our garage. I'm scared. The only thing separating us from the garage monster, hatchet murderer, is a flimsy internal door in the utility room with an average lock. We are out in the country. Police will take some time to get to us. I can't call my parents. This is ancient, pre-cell phone times. I grabbed the fireplace poker, nice heavy iron one, and the phone, with its mile of cord trailing after me, and head upstairs to a more defensively position. I call my uncle, who lives about 10 minutes away, and tell him what's going on. He says he's on his way. I ask him, should I call the police? I was a kid and wasn't sure about calling. He says, hell yes. I call the police and they say they're on the way. A wonderful lady is on the line with me now, but I'm more scared than ever because there is more clicking and clattering from the garage, and now a beer tapping scratching on the utility room. Now the cats are puffing up and growling at the door. I've never seen them act that way before. My heart is in my throat. The lady on the phone tells me to go into the house as far as I can, put as many doors between me and whatever is in the garage as I can. I'm now cowering in the master bathroom behind my parents' bedroom door, the bathroom door, and in the shower cubicle. But that phone cord I mentioned, it leads straight to where I'm hiding. I wait scared to death while the lady keeps me informed about what is going on. I hear shouting outside, male voices. The lady tells me the police officers are outside and that they've found a man at the side of the garage. In retrospect now, I'm just thankful that the police didn't kill my uncle, who turned up with a shotgun and was prowling around outside the garage trying to peer in the windows to see who or what was inside. I've never been so scared in my life or so grateful. Thank you, amazing 911 lady who stayed with me. Thank you, police officers who came to my rescue. Thank you, uncle, who was ready to protect me. Who or what was in the garage? A possum. We all had a good laugh. We don't know how he got trapped in there, but he was stuck in our closed garage and having a good nose through the recycling boxes, hence all the clanking and clattering. I made my parents buy us a fancy new cordless phone. Story 8. I was house-sitting, pet-sitting at a house in the mountains west of Denver. It was early evening. I was outside throwing the ball for the 2 golden retrievers when out of the blackness came a scream that sounded like a woman. I froze. The dogs immediately started growling and snarling into the darkness that surrounded the house. I heard the scream again, and the third or fourth time I realized that the scream sounded nearly identical every time, which almost made it more terrifying. I rushed the dogs inside and made sure all the doors and windows were locked. I nearly called 911, but the scream was so consistent in pitch and duration that I went to the internet to figure out if it could be an animal. Turns out the roar of a mountain lion can often sound like a woman is being bludgeoned. This is definitely up there for most frightening experiences in my life. Story 9. I was abducted by a guy who was planning to harm me when I was 15. He seemed crazy and I felt there was a good chance he might murder me. So I pushed down my total terror, pretended to be friendly, persuaded him to slow the car down from 100 to about 60, then jumped out. Fortunately, I didn't break any bones, but I was covered in blood from head to foot from the gravel rush. Some were deep gouges that I still bear the scars from today. He stopped, and when he realized I could not be persuaded back into the car, he started trying to run me over. I flagged down a car heading back towards Darwin, and that family took me home. The cops got him, and he did a few years for it. Let me know your stories in the comments to be part of a future video. Like and subscribe to be notified of new uploads, and click on this video to hear more stories.